It is time for a live stream. It is 4:35 Pacific time. Had a really busy day today. We're live. It's saying we're live. Okay, it took a little bit of time to load there. So if I suddenly disappear, it means we have a bad internet connection. We have people in the accommodation right now, and if they use the internet, this could screw up the connection. It is currently 4:35 p.m. Pacific time here on the Southern Gulf Islands. Current temperature 25 degrees Celsius, 52% humidity. It's just a beautiful day out here. So I had a really busy day today. Spent most of the morning moving firewood and stacking firewood, and cut down a nice tree to make room for another garden. Went out for a motorcycle ride and carved a tiki and made a brick patio. And now it's time to relax and have a live stream. I don't know how long I'll be on here for, but if anybody's in there, feel free to join in. Wendy's just watering the garden. It is so dry here, and it's warm. I got the patio umbrella up right now. It doesn't need to be any warmer than this. 25 degrees Celsius is good enough for me when I'm not working. I don't like to work in this weather, I'll tell you that. But I tell you, a really cold beer on a hot day tastes really well. So hope you guys are doing well out there. Hope everybody's staying safe. And I don't think we're going to be going to Maui this year. I think Wendy might have canceled the trip to Maui this year just because of what's all going on in the world. I think we're going to have a staycation this year and stay here right on the Southern Gulf Islands. And maybe in September, October, I'll head over to the far west coast and go to Tofino. And so stay tuned for some videos from the west coast to Tofino. And maybe there'll be some surfing going on over there, so we'll catch some surfing. Sometimes they have surf competitions over there. One time I was there, the rip curl competition was on. It was quite nice. I should have videotaped it. We watched it shortly, but I didn't videotape it. So if it's going on this time or any surf competitions, I will videotape, but definitely get some palmy videos for sure. What I did notice in our garden, we have a pot with calla lilies in it. And they're the really colorful calla lilies, Antidecia, and no protection. They all came back. They're sitting in the pot right now. They're about this big, which is good. I didn't think they would. We had a bit of a cold snap in mid-January, and I thought for sure they would have froze because they're in a small pot, but they're growing. Hey, how's it going, man? Tropical PDX. Good to see you in there. Hope all is well. Hope your garden's thriving, keeping things watered. I'm sure it's nice and toasty where you are. It's about 77, 78 degrees Fahrenheit here right now, and calm, blue sky, slight breeze. I can see the big eucalyptus trees just slightly moving in the wind, and it is a really nice day here on the Southern Gulf Islands. 52% humidity, so it feels good. Yesterday was kind of muggy. It was not nice. Low 80s. Okay, so yeah, so we're the high 70s right now. And it is 4:39 p.m. Pacific time. Sunny and breezy. Yeah, very, very slight breeze here. It's just ever so slightly. You don't even really feel it. I can just see the tallest eucalyptus trees moving up there. But I got lots done in the garden today, and lots of watering. It's just been nonstop watering, which kind of sucks. And now we're locked into the high pressure system. So it's like at this time of the year, you don't see rain for a few months now, which is kind of scary. I don't like it because it gets way too dry here and forest fire risk goes way up. So I wish we would get rain. I wish we'd get rain at least a couple of times a week. That would really help out with the island and the garden. But it is a very comfortable temperature right now. I got the patio umbrella up here, and working in this weather actually really does suck. I don't like working in this weather, so I'm glad it's on a Saturday. I live on the extinct volcano with a few by. Oh, wow, cool. Due to the topography, yeah, cool. An extinct volcano. Interesting. Well, there's no volcanoes here on Salt Spring Island, but we do have a lot of mountains. Very, very mountainous. And the nearest volcano to us would be Mount Baker in Washington State, and then south of that is Mount Rainier, just southeast of Seattle. And we can see Mount Rainier from here on Salt Spring Island, south end, up in the higher points. And we can easily see Mount Baker in Washington State too. It's directly east of us. And I used to ski there. I used to ski on Mount Baker, and it's always covered with snow. It is a high mountain. And then the next mountain would be Mount St. Helens, of course, which is just in southern Washington, I think. That's Vancouver, Washington, near there. I remember when that erupted, May 18th, 1980. I was 16 years old. I remember exactly what I was doing. I was at work that morning. It was a Sunday morning, and man, I heard a big explosion. The earth rumbled, and Mount St. Helens erupted. And I do have some ash from it, but it's funny where I lived right on the U.S. boundary in the southwest corner of Langley, about 30 miles south of Vancouver, and we got zero ash, but a lot of other places got ash. But I had a friend that lived down there in Portland, Oregon, so he sent me some ash, and I still have that ash in a package. Hey, I can see Rainier too. Sweet. Yeah, we can see it from here. Tropical PDX. Mike Fallon. Hey, how's it going, Michael? I was up on Mount Hood last week. Beargrass. Sweet. Snowiest place on earth, Mount Baker, that is. Yeah, there's a lot of snow up there, and we can easily see it. It's directly across from Salt Spring Island. And there's a lot of snow up on Mount Washington, too, up on the Big Island. Vancouver Island gets a lot of snow up there. It's amazing the base up on that place. I used to ski up there on Mount Washington on Vancouver Island. It's near Comox and Courtney, but no volcanoes anywhere near Salt Spring Island. But I tell you, it'd be quite a spectacular sight if Mount Baker erupted, because we would see it from here, and we would see Mount Rainier erupt too if we went up to our higher points, higher elevations on Salt Spring. There was no sound in Portland from Mount St. Helens eruption because the sound wave. Oh, it was totally loud where I lived. It was unbelievable, man. Sounded like 50 megaton bomb going off. But you could see the ash plume. Yeah, no, we couldn't. I couldn't see any ash plume. I could just feel it and hear it. And I just remember it being at about 8:30 in the morning. I was at work, and I was just like, wow. And it just rumbled. It just shook like an earthquake, and then it was just a massive explosion. And that's quite far away. You think of the distance between Mount St. Helens and South Langley. Where I lived was about a mile and a half, 2 miles north of the Washington state boundary. So I was very close to Zero Avenue at that point. I'm sure if we lived on Salt Spring at that time, we would have felt it too. Yeah, but I still have the ash, which is kind of cool. He sent it to me back in 1980, and I still have it in a little, kind of as a little Ziploc baggie. Mount St. Helens ash. Yeah. So anyway, hope your summer's going okay, and hope your gardens are thriving, your jungle gardens. I just finished fertilizing everything today down in the lower garden. The Miracle-Gro seems to work really well. I've been hitting the bananas with it. Guavas are growing really good. Pomegranates really kicking out growth. Fig trees are growing like weeds, and everything else around here is like a real frickin' jungle. And it helped with the spring. The spring was cooler than normal, and it was dry, but it was cooler than normal. So when we did get the rain, there was less evaporation. So the gardens just absolutely loved it. It's the best it's ever looked. It's just too bad we can't have a garden tour this year because of the, what's going on in the world. Everything's kind of put on halt. So just like our Maui trip, I don't think we're going to Maui this year either. We're going to have a staycation. I'm going to stay here on Salt Spring where it's nice and safe. Hope everybody is staying safe out there too. If you go to Mount St. Helens, they have a couple of museums on the way up. Cool. There was a guy up there, old Harry, I think his name was, or something. He lived, Harry Truman or whatever his name was. He lived up on top of the mountain and he refused to leave. So he's part of the ash now, and he got caught in that volcanic eruption. Extra rain this year for sure. Yeah, it was wetter, but still not so bad here on Salt Spring. We are in a rain shadow, so we get a lot less rain than the mainland. It's been a lot drier here than over on the mainland, that's for sure. So been doing a lot of watering this spring, but temperatures were cooler, and I was really happy with that. So now, like I say, it's daytime temperatures are 25, 26, and nighttime. Last night the temperature was what was it, 18.9? I think it was our low, 18.9 degrees Celsius. So it was still quite warm. We've got the fan going all night on us and the windows open. Grass has finally started to turn yellow. Our grass is crispy brown here in the parks. It is crispy brown. Harry Truman and his cats. That's right. I remember that. I was 16 years old at the time, so 56 now. I remember it very well, just like it was yesterday. UK July has been very terrible. April, June, wet. June was cooler here. We call it January, Michael, because it was very inconsistent weather patterns. And yeah, we did. We had. I think we had 2 inches of rain for June here, so it was moist, but not super wet. 1 month late. Yeah, well, now everything's kicking in. The passion vines sure liking it, man. Lots of flowers on the. I don't know if any of you guys are growing passion vine or guavas, but If you want to grow guava, try Feijoa salawiana. It's a nice hardy guava, and fully hardy here, and it will flower nicely and produce fruit. I think you need two for fruit. I think it does need pollination. We only have one, so I'm definitely gonna have to plant another one. 4 inches of rain. Okay, so we had just about 2 inches. I think we had 1.47 inches of rain for June, so not quite 2 inches, just under 2 inches. And Vancouver had more than us for sure. Vancouver gets more rain than the Gulf Islands, So, like I say, it is a Mediterranean climate here. Watch my latest video I uploaded. Did I upload it yesterday? I think I uploaded yesterday, the olive farm. I was on my way back from the Fulford Valley yesterday, and phone rang, so I needed a place to park. So there's a driveway there. So I pulled in, and I figured, while I'm there, I'll shoot a little video of the olive farm. I think there's about 3,500 trees there now, 3,500 olive trees. It's absolutely spectacular, and lots of 30-degree plus days there. My Feijoa started flowering. Cool. Yeah, ours has never flowered. It was in a really bad area, growing under some big Dougie fir trees. Very stressed out. So about 2 years ago, I moved it to the back of the house here, and now it's growing like mad. And hopefully next year it will flower. It's in full sun. We're going to get a bunch more trees cut down in the fall too. Wendy's got it on her list of things to do. So we get the arborist in every couple of years to knock down some big Dougie firs. I think there's about 4 or 5 trees getting cut down. They're about 120 feet tall. It's going to let a lot more sun in, and we use that for firewood. That's how we heat our house here. I mean, we do have electric heat baseboards, but it's very costly heating your house with electric heat. So we have a Pacific Energy wood stove, and I split a lot of firewood every year. So I'm going to be splitting up a ton of wood when he knocks these trees down. We get the branches chipped, and we use the chips for mixing our palm mixture for planting the palms in the nursery, and we also use them in our pathways in the garden because we don't have any lawn here. We just have pathways. So Wendy puts them all through the pathways. Got more sun, and get more sun. Wendy, smart. Get rid of those. Yeah. There's a lot of conifers. Well, we have acreage here, right? So I mean, they're everywhere. So these guys here, they're all coming down, man. They're all coming down. They're big trees. They could be 150 feet tall easily. So there's a lot of wood in them. They're big. They're big trees, 60 feet up the tree. So really nice to split that firewood. Tennessee palm. We got how to grow potatoes using palms. We got lots of potatoes growing. We got about 4 or 5 different varieties of potatoes here. This is the first year actually we're growing potatoes, but we actually stacked them. We got a cylindrical. We put up some stucco wire, and then we layered the potatoes. And they're big, and we got peas growing out of them too. So lots of potatoes, lots of new potatoes. So we're gonna have to start digging some of those up soon. Lots of stuff in the garden. Lots of tomatoes too. Tomatoes, and lots of leeks. And there's cabbage. The cabbages are really big this year. Beets, and I don't think we planted carrots, but there's a lot of other stuff going in the garden too. Which reminds me, I have to water that. The garden. I have to water that after I do this live stream. So who's all in there today? Tropical PDX, Tennessee Palms, Matt, and there's a whole bunch in there. And I know you guys are having toasty weather too. It's just about right here. I would not want this weather for working in. I'm not looking forward to next week when we're in the high 20s Celsius. I prefer to work in about 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. And right now it is 25 degrees Celsius, and humidity is very low, thank God. Yesterday, humidity was 62%. And when it's a little higher, man, I do not like it. You're feeling like kind of sticky. I couldn't imagine any higher than that. Although I know what it's like. I've been in Maui when it's higher, and doesn't feel very good when you're sticky and you're trying to work. Tropical PDX, Joe will be in the 90s next week. Yeah, it's warm. That's really warm. Yeah, we'll be up into the 80s, so that's good enough for me. And you got to remember it. And then the other areas of our island will probably be up around 90. The inland sections where they grow the olives, they're going to be up high 80s and probably 90 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm too close to the ocean here, so it's rare that we ever hit 90 here. You got to remember, like I say, it's very narrow where I live on the point of the island here. Lots of ocean, not a lot of land. So, and you can feel it when you're riding a motorbike. I ride a motorbike, and you can feel all the warm and cold pockets on the island. So you can really feel the ocean influence here at the north end of the island. You're driving through some areas and it's just warm air hitting you. And then you come up here and you can feel the coolness of the ocean. Matter of fact, a little bit of a breeze just hit me right now. See the Washingtonia moving in the wind right there. And it's just, that feels nice. It's like air conditioning. I just love it. I'm in Idaho at the moment, mid 80s, 50. Yeah, see, that's perfect humidity, Matt. 15% humidity is really, really low. Oh, there's a breeze blowing right now, man. It is absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. Mule palms and sable. I have sable cassarium, and it's doing really well. I just fertilized it today. All our sable miners are doing good. We have sable Birmingham in the ground. Needle palms are loving it. And Trachycarpus, of course, are growing like weeds, as you can see. And the newest plantings of waggies we planted last month are doing really, really well. We planted 2 more waggies in the ground, and they are happy campers. Camarops are pumping out the fronds. Jubea looks really good. Really happy with the Jubea, my seed-grown Jubea. It's been in the ground for quite a few years now, and I just hit it with some Miracle-Gro. Our Syagris, our Queen Palm cross Butea, absolutely flawless and looking quite beautiful. So I'll do an update on that soon. I'll do a YouTube video. It looks really good. It actually looks more like a Syagris. I don't really see any Butea in it whatsoever. It looks like a Queen Palm, and it's got a nice little trunk on it and some really nice fronds. Princeps, yeah, we have Princeps in the ground. The thing is, I had the seeds in a baggie, and somebody said they'll germinate faster if you put them outside. So I took the baggie and I dumped it beside the Jubea. Sure enough, there's seedlings. There's Princeps seedlings coming up beside the Jubea. What percentage of the eucalyptus on Salt Spring are you responsible for? A lot of them. Did you see the latest one I just uploaded? Did I upload that one? No, I didn't upload that one of Rotary Park. Okay, so there's a lot of eucalyptus trees growing in town. Some of them have been cut down, though. A lot of them have been cut down in town, unfortunately. There was a lot of them growing around the boardwalk, and the people living at that complex didn't like them, so they cut down some big eucalyptus trees there. They cut down a blue gum to die for. They cut down my small leaf gum. They cut down some big mountain gums and some big spinning gums. I think they cut down about 10 eucalyptus trees at that complex, big eucalyptus trees. And nitens too. They cut down a big nitens. There's a big nitens left there. There's passiflora. There's neglecta. And I'm trying to think what else. Oh yeah, there's Niphophila. And there might be a Dollarium pleana left there as well. And then, there's Gunnii. They cut down so many beautiful eucs there. But I've sold so many eucalyptus trees to people over the last few decades. So I guess I'm responsible for a lot of eucalyptus trees and palm trees over the last few decades anyway. But there has been palms growing here long before I came to this island. I mean, there's palm trees that were planted in the 1960s, and they're still here growing nicely. Ridiculous. What do they want? Maples. Yeah, they're stupid people, man. They cut down the cordy lines too. It's really upset me. You should see they had big cordy lines in there. And one day I wanted to go there and shoot a video. I went and they're both cut down. They cut down 2 of those cordy lines. And it just makes me sick. Some of the stuff. They moved one of the sable miners, it died. They moved one of the Jubeas, it died. Freaking stupid gardener. Drives me crazy. Hi, Joe. I'm from Texas. Mark, we have people from Texas living on this island. You know that? I see Texas plates here on our island a lot because there's people from Texas that come up here from the summer to get away from that heat. And they actually own property just around the corner from us on Sunset Drive. Very, very wealthy Texas people that own waterfront property. They have a multi-million-dollar place just around the corner from us here, and they're here for 6 months of the year, just for these spring and summer months, and then they go back to Texas in the winter. Yeah, they have Texas plates on they have a VW microbus. They drive around with Texas plates on it. Mule palms are highly variable. Yeah, I have mule palms in the garden here. So jealous. Baju have not taken. Oh, Michael, the Baju are huge here. Huge here. Yeah, they're big. Ours are about 16 feet tall now. Johnny Appleseed of eucalyptus. Yeah, I've been growing eucalyptus for, I'd say since 1986, 86 at least, 87. I grew them at my last location too. So, but the problem is in 8A, 8B, they're going to freeze down to the ground. There's no reliable eucalyptus trees lower than 8B. I can tell you, if you can prove it, prove me wrong, please do. Show me some mature eucalyptus trees that have been in the ground more than 15 years without any freeze back in zone 8A. I would like to see it. I've never ever seen it anywhere in the southeastern states. They grow them there, but they are going to freeze back in a bad winter. Here they're 100 feet tall. There's a lot of eucalyptus trees that are fully hardy here, and there's a lot of them on the island. Where you live in Canada is the only spot you can grow plants. People should be. Yeah, well, I agree with that, Tropical PDX, and that's why I live here. I wouldn't live anywhere else in Canada. I couldn't. I was born and raised here, so I've never been anywhere else in Canada. I've been to Edmonton a couple of times, but I've never been east of that, and that was only in the summertime. Put it this way. If I can't grow a palm tree and it can't survive the winter without protection, then I can't live there. It's too cold for me to live. So that's why I'm here. And that's the only reason I actually moved here, for the climate and to grow a better subtropical garden. I got sick of losing plants in Zone 8A, 8B. I just really got sick of it. I gardened there for years. And yeah, we had a lot more summer heat out there, but the winters were just brutal, man. Just brutal. And it was the last draw, or last cold winter. I said, that's it. I'm out of here. So put the house up for sale and moved to Salt Spring Island. And I knew Salt Spring Island well because I've been gardening here since 1989. My mom and dad bought here in 1978. So I've been coming here since I was 14 years old. We always had summer property here. So it was our summer place. It was our summer cottage. And so I'd come here for 3 weeks at a time. In the summer, I'd come through the fall and winter and spring, and just absolutely loved it. Planted palms here at mom and dad's place. Never lost a palm in the cold. Was losing them out there in Zone 8A. So I says, hey, time to pack her up and move west. Move southwest. It's a way to do her. See me? Hey, Dave, how's it going there, snowbird flock? Yeah, you moved to the right time. Very pricey now. Yeah, it is expensive here. It's more expensive living on an island, but that's the price you got to pay living on an island. I'll tell you, man. It is a very good climate here year round. Yeah, winters are wet, but they're not that cold. We can get snow, but it still never gets that cold. It doesn't get cold enough to kill what we grow. A lot of people assume it gets really cold when you see snow in my videos, but it doesn't kill the plants. You know what I mean? A lot of these plants actually, where they grow in the native habitat, they do get snow on them. You know what I collected today? I was down at Fernwood Cafe down the road. I collected a bunch. There's tree lupin there, big tree lupin, and I collected a bunch of seeds off of it. So I'm going to grow some tree lupins on our property. It's quite a nice plant because it is. I think it's evergreen, and it's about 5 or 6 feet tall. I don't know if you've ever heard of a tree lupin, but it gets yellow flowers on it. Pretty nice species. They had Lysisteria formosa blooming there too. Ours are blooming here as well, but they got a really nice one in full sun, and that's Himalayan honeysuckle. So some of you guys should try Himalayan honeysuckle, Lysisteria formosa, and it's a beautiful exotic evergreen to semi-evergreen plant with really tropical-looking flowers on it. Greg Slasky, hi Joe. Will European fan palm survive? No, absolutely not. Unfortunately, Greg, it will not. Matter of fact, when I lived in Zone 8A, they would freeze to the ground. In 1989, all of my Camarops froze to the ground except one. The one that I had protected on the south side of my house in very sandy soil raised beds, close to the building, under an overhang. I put a cardboard box around it and I put a piece of plexiglass over it, no artificial heat. And it had superficial frost burn to the end of the fronds, but at minus 14.8 degrees Celsius, I think that was 5.4